Hello again, Steve here, and today I'm going to go way back to when this YouTube channel began. Well, it might not be this YouTube channel, it's the Coffee Chat YouTube channel. I'm not sure where you're actually seeing this, but the Coffee Chat YouTube channel began under the name Flatbelly Steve, and that's why you cannot find it. It was part of the reason why you can't find it if you search Coffee Chat. First of all, a whole bunch of other people have chosen Coffee Chat, and secondly, for some reason that's the name that still shows up because it's the new name, but it overrode it. Why Flatbelly Steve? Well, at the time I was running a weight loss program on the internet, had many subscribers worldwide, and since abandoned that because I lost interest in it essentially. And but that's how it began. But the first video that I posted on that was called Desire, or something to do with desire, and hopefully I'll remember to post a link there. You'll see it's interesting how I did videos back then. I actually would practice doing the video for days at a time. I was just so scared about doing it and reading it, memorizing it, and so on. And I came off like kind of like this, hi YouTube, It was hilarious. But hey, you got to start somewhere. But that's a bit of a diversion. But I wanted to revisit this idea of desire, and I have revisited it a few times because I think it's very important. You know, it's not really important to the channel because usually when I post them I get 4 or 5 views. But hey, I must indulge myself once in a while. I do actually enjoy this. So desire, I first set upon that because of stuff that I had been reading, and it kind of made sense. I mean, there was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. There was Wallace Wattles and some of his writings, and there was The Secret and whatnot. And a lot of these books, they pointed towards desire as sort of the beginning point of what we do and how we achieve things in life, right? And actually, Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, I believe the second chapter, it says it's titled Desire is the title of the chapter, the second chapter. And then subtitled is The Starting Point of All Achievement, or something like that. And it made sense. The way he describes it, it makes sense and so on. But years after, I started to think about, okay, is that true? I mean, that's sort of like, God created the universe. Well, the question then is, what creates God, right? So there's this ever, back or deepening sort of rabbit hole as to what is going on. And I began to think about it because, hey, you know what? I think that self-knowledge is very important. Like this quest to understand ourselves, and one of the reasons I think it's so important, well, is I like it. I like the inquiry really. But also, when I think about it myself, and I encourage other people to do this, when we think about ourselves as the prime movers of what's going on in our lives, I mean, we could say, okay, there's God that created us and so on. But if I'm to get up and walk over to that door and open the doorknob, unless I got somebody else in here to do that for me, which I don't have any jinns or genies or anything in here right now, except maybe in that their genie lamp, I've got to do it. So I'm the prime mover. So if we're gonna be able to be more effective in this world, overcome our problems, achieve what we want, and so on. I don't know. To me, the more we know about it ourselves, the better. I mean, I've worked with machines and built buildings and so on over the years, and done a lot of kind of things like that. And every time I have an owner's manual or a user's manual or a maintenance manual or something like that, I'm usually better off because I can figure out more about what's going on. So, and a lot of times we're not told a lot about ourselves. So I continue to dig and dig and dig. And over the years, I discovered that Napoleon Hill just might not be right. Because after all, there is what instigates, what I'm going to call here, what inflates. And I'll put a link in the description because I wrote a blog on my website too about this. It's a little bit more detailed. But it's what inflates this desire. And I used the analogy in that video or that blog of a balloon, right? We can inflate a balloon, but unless we find a way to maintain the inflation of that balloon, it looks pretty pathetic a day later. I mean, we've all seen them after the party. You find one in behind the couch or something after the birthday party, and it's all a little shriveled up, wrinkled thing. It's just not there. In fact, the unexpanded balloon, before we even blew it up, we have it stored away somewhere. It's like basically latent. It's a latent balloon. It's got potential as a balloon, right? Just like we go around in life when we're really dreary and so on. It's like we're living life, but we're not really living it because we've got nothing really buoying us up. Nothing you know, lifting us up. Whereas when we fill up that balloon and, you know, you give that to a young kid, boy, their eyes light up and they're bouncing it around and they're having a great old time because it's got some life to it. It's got something to it. And we feel that with ourselves too when we have this spark of desire that sort of inflates us, right? We've all experienced going along kind of humdrum, and then all of a sudden something gears us up. We can't wait to get out of bed in the morning, to get back into it, right? It's really exciting. And, you know, just like the balloon though, if we don't find ways to keep that inflation, it bails out. I mean, think about, and so anyway, so what I found, what I discovered was I realized was that whenever anybody says that they want something, and I noticed that in spades when I was doing the weight loss thing, because people would say they want to lose weight, and my question was, well, you know, you're focusing on what you want to lose, what do you want to gain, right? First of all, so to identify that. But then the discussion had to lead eventually to what was motivating that, right? Because, you know, and this is the reason why so many people fail. Part of the reason why so many people fail, I believe, at New Year's resolutions and so on. I mean, I go to a gym once in a while and you see the place, you can hardly move in January. By the end of January, everybody's cleared out. You know, they all had these desires to lose weight and get in shape, but they didn't follow through with it because there wasn't something more to it, I guess. So, in the analogy of the balloon, if we were to, if we were to be able to find a mechanism to once in a while put a little extra air in it, that balloon would last quite a while because the air seeps out of it. It seeps out no matter how good the balloon is, no matter how well we tie it, it eventually seeps out. It's the same with our desires. If we just allow that initial inflation to pop us up, we get all excited. If we don't find a way to inflate it, it's going to deflate and we right back to normal again. So if we recognize what inflated it in the first place, then we can go back for another hit of that. It's a reminder, right? Like if we wanted to lose weight, you know, perhaps the shame of what we feel and the physical or the health effects and all these sorts of things, maybe that's what sparked the flame to inflate our desire to lose weight initially. But if we don't go back for another little hit of that once in a while initially, then we're kind of doomed. But the thing is, even that is not enough, because in whatever it is that we want, really, it's not enough just to keep on visiting the pain or the reasons why or the discomfort or whatever, because that's rather frustrating, because just doing that is not going to achieve what we see as the solution or the perceived solution, right? We have to motivate ourselves eventually to taking action. And to me, the taking of action, because, you know, somebody once said, I don't know if it wasn't me, I mean, I might have said it, but I didn't originate it or whatever, but there's nothing really more fulfilling in life than genuine achievement. You know, like, if we, and that's why I think why people who win lotteries and stuff like that, the vast majority of them are just, they're more wretched than when they began. There was one guy, I forget who it was, once said that he won this millions of dollars in the lottery, and he ended up in jail. That's how much trouble he got himself in. And he actually admitted that he preferred to be in jail than to have the lottery winnings. You know, it's like, it's because it's not real achievement. But when you really achieve something, when you see somebody who's really genuinely achieved, you see this life in their eyes. They're excited. It's life, right? So that actually, when I think of this analogy, I think of the balloon that we could have actually attach its own inflation device, so then it could carry on. Because that's eventually what we have to do with our desires, is we have to sort of self-inflate them. Because if we just keep on going, having a hit of the pain once in a while, that only gets us going. But to maintain it, we must begin to get going, right? And start to plan out and visualize what it is that we want, and begin to believe in it, right? Because if we don't believe in it, you know, like even the Bible talks about whatsoever you wish for when you pray, believing that you'll receive it, you'll receive it. It's like that lynch point. If we don't have the belief that either what we want is possible or that we can achieve it, then we just become daydreamers and it all falls away, right? But with those things in place, with that clear vision, that planning phase or whatever, and that belief, then we begin to take steps and we see incremental results. There once again, there's that achievement, and it begins to feed back as a sort of like a fire when it starts to get going. We start to feed the flames of that desire, and it's like that hot air balloon that has its own source. You can light up that flame once in a while and just go up, up, up and keep flying, right? And of course, with all of that inflation, then we have the will to act and continue to act, right? And because if we don't believe it, we don't have the will, right? It's just like it's impossible. I mean, you think about, well, am I gonna walk on the moon tomorrow? Not likely. So I don't have any will to try, right? And but with that will to act, we begin to act, and the more we can act with purpose and with certainty, the more clear our results can be. And when we have results, once again, just feeds it all, and we become people of accomplishment. And people of accomplishment, when you meet them, they're living on a different level than those who are not accomplishing. And I would say that that's very important for the quality of our lives. So anyways, after 10 years, or not 9 years, I guess, of doing these little YouTube videos, I revisit the topic of desire. Hopefully that was helpful. If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, and share. And please visit the link down below to my website where you can read the blog. And don't mind the typos, because I don't have a chance usually right away to edit everything. And yeah, you're going to find typos in my blogs, guaranteed. Those are for free. Steve here again, great chatting. Talk again soon. Bye for now.